They paid millions to keep the files locked up. What is inside these files isn't just scandalous. It's dangerous enough to topple the entire Watchtower society. But the most haunting question is why? Why would a religion claiming to be God's one true people go to such extremes as to protect predators and silence victims? By the end of this video, you'll have the answers, straight from the leaked documents, insider testimonies, and the victims themselves. If you missed episode 1, here is what you need to know. We exposed the birth of the blue envelope system, a secret network created in the 1990s. Every allegation of abuse, every victim's cry for help, every damning piece of evidence gets sealed up in a blue envelope and hidden away from law enforcement, the congregation, and most of the elders. If you are new to this channel, I'm Dr. K, a theologian, polemist, author, and international consultant. In addition to 3 other degrees, I hold 2 PhDs and a degree in theology with distinction. But more than credentials, I bring to the table what matters: to expose religious abuse without fear or favor. If you crave for such deep dives, subscribe and smash the notice bell so you don't miss what is coming next. At the 2025 Pure Worship Convention, governing body Help Martin stood before thousands, boasting about the organization's moral purity. But behind the scenes, the headquarters sits on a database of more than 23,000 names of accused child molesters. Every envelope represents a victim denied justice by those claiming moral authority. Now, these aren't rumors. The leaks reveal names, dates, and the proof of the Watchtower knowingly choosing silence over the safety of victims. So why the secrecy? Why fight so ruthlessly to keep the files hidden? Today we break down the real motives, layer by layer. The first motive for creating this blue envelope system and hiding it away from the public and the authorities is that the organization places doctrine over children's safety. The Jehovah's Witnesses use dirty legal tactics of even disobeying the whole judicial system. Here is an audio clip.
From the Center for Investigative Reporting and PRX, this is Reveal. I'm Al Letson.
First, they said the job of compiling the documents was too big for their offices to handle.
Honestly, Mr. Zalkin, the efforts that we've made up to this point is just trying to figure out how on earth we could ever do that in our filing system.
That's Richard Ash, a senior Watchtower official. He wouldn't talk to me, but he had to talk to Irwin as part of a lawsuit. This is tape from that deposition.
You're talking about 14,400 congregations and over 3 million documents that have been scanned in that would have to be searched. It would take years to do that.
Irwin believed Richard was just making excuses to withhold the documents, so he brought in a software expert. That expert testified that the Watchtower should be able to search their files in as little as 2 days. The judge ordered them to produce the documents.
They refused. They just simply refused to do it.
The Jehovah's Witnesses fought the order all the way to the California Supreme Court.
And the Supreme Court, in a matter of days, just turned around and said, no, produce. They didn't. They defied the trial court. They defied the Court of Appeals. And they defied the California Supreme Court. They willfully refused to produce the documents.
This is not normal. A defendant in a lawsuit just flat out refusing an order that's been upheld by the state Supreme Court.
The Watchtower's first line of defense, doctrine. Specifically, Deuteronomy chapter 19, verse 15. No single witness may convict another for any sin. On a testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses, the matter should be established.
It's actually called the two-witness rule, inspired by passages from both testaments of the Bible.
So it's not as though the Jehovah's Witnesses have just made up their rules. I mean, they've taken stuff from within their translation of the Bible to validate their policies.
Yeah, absolutely.
André Gagné is a theology studies professor at Montreal's Concordia University.
You find a passage here in Deuteronomy chapter 19. No single witness may convict another for any error or any sin that he may commit. On the testimony of 2 witnesses or on the testimony of 3 witnesses, the matter should be established.
No single witness may convict. Biblical words Jehovah's Witnesses take literally.
Sounds serious until you realize how it is used. When a child reports abuse, elders ask, who else saw it? No second witness? No action. No police. Just another blue envelope. They just tell families, leave it in God's hands. Let's listen to a case story.
A fiery death wasn't the only thing that scared Tricia. In fact, in a way, her own world had already ended. Since she was a child, she says, she had been abused by someone she should have been able to trust the most.
Can you talk to me about the kind of abuse that you suffered?
Sexual abuse from my father. The abuse started as soon as I was born until I was approximately 14 years old.
And which one is you?
This one.
Tricia says her mother suspected something was going on and went to the church elders for advice.
They basically told her that she wasn't fulfilling her wifely duties and that she had to be a more submissive wife and make her husband happier.
She's told you need to be servicing your husband more?
Yeah.
Eventually, Tricia found the courage to go to an elder herself when she was 12. Help is not what she found.
And I explained to him what was going on, and he said, I don't have any proof and I don't have any witnesses, so I need to respect my family and not to bring it up again.
You told an elder that your dad was sexually abusing you, and he said, show us the proof?
Mm-hmm.
Leave it in Jehovah's hands. A very common phrase for denying justice of the victims. Another envelope, another victim silenced. This is selective literalism. The two-witness rule isn't enforced for every crime. For theft, circumstantial evidence or patterns are enough. But for child abuse, suddenly the rule is absolute. Let's look at the inside the document, the psychological impact. Requiring a child to find a witness for their own abuse is psychological torture. It tells them pain isn't real, their word isn't enough, and the organization image matters more than their safety.
They put the onus on the victim to produce 2 credible eyewitnesses to their assault. And by credible eyewitnesses, they mean other Jehovah's Witnesses that saw it with their own eyes.
And where does that sit in your heart, and how does it sit?
It's heavy. I've gone through bouts of severe depression where I felt like ending my life because I was so unheard when I was basically screaming for help as a child.
The second motive for creating this blue envelope system and hiding it away from the public and the authorities is that the Watchtower Society values reputation over the safety of children. Jehovah's Witnesses pride themselves of being God's clean people, the ones who breathe the fresh air of pure worship, whilst the rest of us are feasting on the tables of vomit.
You found the truth. This is it. Pure worship. What does the world have to offer? We're on the top of the mountain where Jehovah has built this massive organization with millions of people globally. You found it. What's at the bottom of the mountain? Nothing but tables of vomit. And yet, up top, we are sucking in the beautiful, clean, fresh air of pure worship.
Their public image is everything. They are ready to lie. They are ready to hide away evidence. They are ready to pay millions of dollars to protect their image. They're ready to drag justice.
Irwin talked to reporters about the decision.
Documents that go back decades that shows the depth and the breadth of their knowledge of child predators within their organization, child molesters within their organization. They refused to produce those documents. And for that reason, they were sanctioned by this court and their defense was terminated.
I mean, obviously they're appealing that.
They did appeal that.
But still, that's a lot of risk. That's the risk of $13.5 million not to produce these documents.
Right. Yeah, they did. They took that risk.
And it's a risk they took again in Irwin's next case. This time, it cost them $4 million.
They've made a business decision not to produce these documents. And that case got terminated too, and it's on appeal.
It looked like this was their game plan. Hide the child abuse files at any cost. If necessary, pay millions of dollars in judgments, but don't let anyone see the documents. Then, something kind of unbelievable happened. The Jehovah's Witnesses gave in. In Irwin's next case, they agreed to hand over the documents. They'd finally cracked, and Irwin would get the files. But when they started rolling in, something was wrong. The names of all the alleged abusers were blacked out. And Irwin only got 4 years of documents. There were another 15 years he was supposed to get. He went back to the judge, who demanded that the Jehovah's Witnesses turn over all the documents with the names. They refused, and the court ordered them to pay a fine of $4,000 a day until they comply. It's crazy to think that an organization hiding crimes against children could just thumb its nose at the courts like this, but so far, the Jehovah's Witnesses have gotten away with it. They're a multi-billion-dollar corporation, so maybe millions in damages doesn't scare them.
I think that on some level they're aiding and abetting these perpetrators. It's a public safety issue. I mean, at this point, this needs to be investigated.
Even the head of the legal department was charged for lying. Philip Brumley, the long-time legal counsel for the Jehovah's Witnesses, was held personally responsible by a U.S. federal court for giving false information under oath. The cost? Over $150,000. Bringing reproach to Jehovah's name is Jehovah's Witness' biggest sin over child abuse. Exposing abuse is seen as the real scandal than the abuse itself. Let's look at the case study, the elder son. An elder son is accused by 3 children. The board of elders hold private meetings. The elder steps down for personal reasons. His son is privately reproved. The congregation hears nothing. The family is told to keep quiet for the good of the congregation. Why? Because public exposure will bring reproach to Jehovah's name. Let's look at the reinstatement revolving door. The disfellowshipped abusers can easily be reinstated for showing repentance to the elders, attending meetings, field service, and proper attitude. What's not required? Reporting to the police, informing the congregation, staying away from children, professional counseling. When the alleged abuser is reinstated, the congregation is told nothing about the real reason for disfellowshipping. Parents unknowingly welcome predators in their midst. Internal damage control. The 1989 letter read, "Be cautious about what is said regarding abuse cases. Loose talk can cause serious legal problems." Problems to who? To the Watchtower Society. Then comes a 2001 directive. Contact the legal department before taking action. The PR spin. When scandal breaks, the Watchtower says, these are isolated incidents. We abhor abuse. We cooperate with authorities. But the blue envelope system tells a different story. Systematic cover-up and silencing of victims. Legal liability and self-preservation is the third reason why the Watchtower has hidden dark files against authorities the congregation, and the general public. Let's look at the legal playbook. Every file is a substantial lawsuit. Every victim a multi-million dollar payout. 1989. The Watchtower's legal department issues a directive. Elders should be careful what they say about child abuse. Detailed discussions or admissions could create serious legal problems. When in doubt, call legal first. Here is a step-by-step process for cover-up. Step number 1, victim reports abuse. Step number 2, elders call the legal department, not the police. Step number 3, legal department checks state law. Is reporting mandatory? If yes, they report. Bare minimum. If no, they don't. The case goes in a blue envelope. State-by-state legal gaming. The Watchtower tracks mandatory reporting for every state and country. In states where the laws are strict, they comply. Barely, for that matter. In others, silence. The database. 23,000 plus accused abusers. The Watchtower has fought in courtrooms worldwide to keep it sealed because it proves they knew, they tracked, and chose not to act. In episode 1, I shared a clip of a lawyer who finally had access to the files, but the Jehovah's Witnesses only released them on condition that no one else sees them, apart from the court and the lawyer.
From the Center for Investigative Reporting and PRX, this is Reveal. I'm Al Letson. Reveal reporter Trey Bundy has been after a batch of secret documents for more than 2 years, and now he's closer to them than ever before. He's in a law office in San Diego and standing just a few feet from some of those documents.
Are they in this office?
Yes.
And can you show them to me?
No.
That's attorney Erwin Zulkin. He represents victims of childhood sexual abuse by members of a global religion, the Jehovah's Witnesses.
All I can really say is we have the documents. I can't say what's in them. I can't even reference how many of the documents, how much, numbers, or anything like that.
Erwin got the files as part of a lawsuit against the Jehovah's Witnesses. So while he can look at them, he can't show them to anyone else, not even the police.
The $1 million cover-up. In the Candace Conti case, the Watchtower paid $2 million rather than turn over documents. They would rather spend millions of dollars than protecting the children. State of limitation. So cases can expire legally. Internal documents show that they track statutes by the state by advising the elders how to wait out the legal window. International legal shopping. When trouble brews, they transfer records, claim religious exemptions. Their legal team is a global operation to shield predators. Obedience and authoritarian control. The hierarchy of silence. The Watchtower structure is top-down. First, you have the governing body at the top. Then you have branch officers that are responsible for countries or group of countries. You have circuit overseers that oversee congregations. Then local elders. And finally, congregation members. Challenging this order, that's rebellion against God. So what do you think? Should laws be passed to force the Jehovah's Witnesses to release the database of more than 23,000 alleged abusers? Comment below. To watch part 1 of this episode, click on this link.